Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for College Panel 2024, hosted by Neuhaus Education Center, the Briarwood School, and the Houston International Dyslexia Association. To start us off this evening, we have Lisa Bowman, who will share information about Neuhaus Education Center.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Bowman. I am in the Family Support Office at Neuhaus Education Center. I'd like to share some information about Neuhaus. We are dedicated to promoting reading success for everyone, and we do that by providing evidence-based training and professional development to educators, and to providing information and resources to families in this family support office, like this evening's event. And we also provide direct services to adult learners. Some upcoming events you might be interested in is we have a virtual dyslexia simulation that's scheduled for February 7th. We also offer monthly information sessions twice a month during the school year, once on a Wednesday and once on a Saturday monthly at 10 a.m. They provide great information about dyslexia, identifying dyslexia, and information about the Texas dyslexia law. Then we also offer virtually Dyslexia 101 and Dyslexia 201, which again offers you more information about dyslexia intervention and for your student. So at this time, I would like to introduce the president of the Houston branch of the International Dyslexia Association, Jennifer.
All right. Looks like we might be having a little technical difficulty. So, there we go.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you though. But that's okay. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I could totally do that. Hi, I'm Jennifer Vastola, and I'm the president of the Houston branch of the International Dyslexia Association. The HBIDA outreaches and educates the Houston community about dyslexia. We raise scholarship funds for teachers, therapists, counselors, and families to attend our conferences, symposiums for little cost. We raise scholarship funds for qualifying applicants for educational diagnostic testing. In addition, we publish a yearly resource directory that includes facts about dyslexia, research-based articles, strategies, apps, links, and helpful websites and schools that supports dyslexia. Please donate and join to HBIDA now. I would like to introduce to you to Tony Lazores at the Briarwood School.
Hello, everyone. I am Tony Lazures. I am the middle upper counselor for grades 7 through 12 at the Briarwood School, and welcome to College Panel 2024. Tonight, we have 5 different students who are coming to us from various colleges, different high school experiences, and they're going to share tonight a little bit about their journey, the colleges that they're at, some of the resources that they have, some of the tools that they're using to help them through. And so I'm going to ask Greg if he would introduce himself and tell us what school he's at and what he's majoring in.
Hello, can you guys see me?
We can hear you, Greg.
Can you see me?
I cannot, but that's okay. Keep going.
That's weird. That's strange. Okay. Anyway, hi, hello. My name is Greg Nauman. I go to Blackburn College. I'm a sophomore. I have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and ADHD.
And you're majoring in?
Business management.
Thank you. Janelle, if you could introduce yourself, tell us your LD and school and what you're majoring in.
I'm Janelle Nowman. I go to Blackburn College and I'm a sophomore. I have dyslexia, dyscalculia, and ADD, and I'm majoring in art.
Much, Janelle. Jack?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jack. I go to the Texas Tech University and I have ADHD,
And you're majoring in?
creative media.
Thank you. Nils?
Hi, I'm Niels. I go to Stevens Institute of Technology and I'm a freshman and I'm majoring in naval engineering.
Okay. And Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie. I go to Lynn University and I'm a senior. I'm majoring in multimedia journalism and my LDs are ADD and processing disorder.
Okay. Thank you guys for being here, and welcome from all your various schools. Tell me a little bit about the journey to get diagnosed and when did that happen for you? Nils, we start off with you? Can you tell me, when did you get diagnosed?
Yeah, I got diagnosed in kindergarten and I first started receiving services for dyslexia in first grade. But nobody really told me I had dyslexia until I moved to Houston in third grade. And that's when everybody started using like that word around the school settings. Otherwise, I'd never really heard about it. So yeah.
Okay. Katie, what about you? When did you get diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in the 5th grade and then after my first year in high school, I transferred to the Briarwood School, which obviously helped me with understanding my LD and being in the right environment. Being in the right environment. So yeah.
Okay. Jack?
So I think I was around 7 or 8 years old when I was first diagnosed with ADHD. My parents kind of noticed that I didn't really care too much in school and I didn't really pay attention that much, and so they decided to run some tests on me, and so of course it came out to ADHD. And it was around 7th grade where I found out about the Briarwood School, and I thought it was a perfect fit for me. Helped me a lot paying attention more in class.
Okay. Greg?
I don't really remember when I was diagnosed. I think it was like around maybe first grade or third grade, somewhere in between there. But I, I got I was brought to another room during during some classes. And it was
So kind of pull-out program.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Janelle?
I was diagnosed in 3rd grade, and yeah, they pulled me out sometimes to help me.
Okay. The reason why I asked that, a lot of our parents in the audience, some who have children who've already been diagnosed, but many don't know yet or haven't had that done. And the sooner you get diagnosed and get the resources right you need, the better. Niels, I love that you said kindergarten, first grade, because that's early and the better chance to get the dyslexia intervention going. So, but this is a college panel, so we know now what you all have and what you're dealing with. Tell me about the transition from high school to college. So you all picked various colleges. I want to start there. Why did Greg, you and Janelle pick Blackburn College? Tell us what that was about. Either of you.
Well, we can both speak, but I chose Blackman College because of the small student to teacher ratio, and I when I visit there, the professors are all very nice, and also the school has a work study program, so uh, it's when like all the students can work also, and so I thought it was good. It was a good learning for me, hands-on learning for me.
And Blackburn's in Illinois, so that's a big life kind of style change from Houston.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely from Houston to Colorville. Being like Colorville is like a really small town, and so there's nothing to do there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty tough, but it was good. It was a good experience. It was
Janelle, did Greg pick it first, or did you choose it first? Who chose it first?
Actually, the soccer coach reached out to me, and so I went over there and I played soccer there, and then he followed me.
Okay. And again, it's a big transition from Houston. So you said there's nothing to do there. But you didn't go there for stuff to do. You went there for the small school size. How big is the school? How many students?
there's about 400 students.
Oh, it is small.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 400. All right. Katie, you chose Lynn University. I remember back when you were trying to decide between Lynn and Schreiner, and you chose Lynn in Boca Raton. I got the chance to visit you this summer. Tell me why you chose Boca Raton. Why'd you choose Lynn?
Yeah, so I chose Lynn for a few reasons, but the main reason was the program that Lynn provided. They have an IAL program, which stands for the Institute for Achievement and Learning. So I looked into their program, and they had a great setup that I was interested in and that would best accommodate me. Mainly, they had what spoke out to me the most was the academic coaches and having that one-on-one meeting with you weekly. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose Lynn, but also obviously it's a smaller school, and it's not so hectic with, having thousands of people there. So the smaller community made it easier for me to just be there. And also I do have some family nearby, so that was a plus, but obviously, for the LD program.
Okay. Jack, I'm gonna switch to you because we've talked about two small schools. You're at Big O Texas Tech. Tell us why you chose Tech. I know they have the techniques program, but why did you choose?
Yeah, so to be honest, my parents told me that I need to go to a 4-year school and no exceptions, but that was fine with me. I got accepted to a variety of colleges, but what stuck out to Texas Tech to me the most was the techniques program, which is where they see what kind of student you are, and then they put you with the tutors for each of your classes to have like a one-on-one little session with you to, help you with your classes, help you understand what you are learning, and kind of help you with your time management. What else? Yeah, so it was definitely quite a change going from a school where you have like 5 students in your class to where you have 300 students in your class. But it took some time. However, I got really used to it, and I don't regret going to there. And I just really like the color red and black.
Okay. Niels, you're at Stevenson Institute. Tell us why you chose that school.
Mainly because of their academic program for naval engineering. There's not many schools that offer any type of engineering that's like boat related in the entire country. So there wasn't many options if I really wanted to do that as my degree. And also it has like one of the highest returns on investment in the country. So that was a big selling point for me, as well as the scholarship money. So that's why I decided.
Okay. And the transition from Houston to New Jersey?
Yeah, it was, well, actually I was born in New Jersey, so at least until 3rd grade I was there. But I have been in like a small group or individual intervention since 1st grade all the way to senior year. So going straight from that to absolutely nothing at Stevens with just accommodations was like quite a lot, but I handled the transition really well. I found like the environment of just college life was really beneficial to me and how I learn. There's sitting in lectures for just an hour, and then I have around 2 hours of work per hour of lecture. That's on my own, and I get to use any type of like speech to text, any type of accommodation I want, and there's no it's not in classroom, so it's really easy to be able to accommodate myself. So
Okay. All of you, Katie and Jack, you both are seniors, so you've been doing this for a while. Time management is something that comes up a lot, whether you have dyslexia or ADHD or what have you. Tell me what, are you both, all of you, but I want to start with Katie and Jack since you guys are the older ones. What are you using as far as time management to keep yourself on schedule, papers turned in on time? I know 11:59 is usually the turn-in hour for colleges. Are you using your phones? Do you have a planner? Tell me what you're using. Katie, we'll start with you, ladies first, I guess.
Yeah, so we have Canvas, which has all your classes on there, and obviously that's where all your assignments come up. So there is a calendar section in there that automatically transfers each of your assignments, quizzes, all that kinds of stuff onto your calendar, so you know, and it's better visually, at least for me, to see that on this day I have this, and on those 2 days I have that. So it's not just going to just the course and seeing what is due on what date. So the calendar on that has been very useful for me. I also will like set reminders, kind of alarms, because I feel like alarms are, I'll actually do them if I have an alarm being loud next to me. So I'll usually use that, but that and using my calendar.
For the audience who may not know Canva, explain it. I know it's an electronic like Blackboard or Blackbot or whatever, but it's pretty much set up the same way. It's the school system, correct?
Yeah, so it's basically any courses that you have, they would pop up on your dashboard, and it's just an easy way to find your courses and see your syllabus, who your instructor is, a little bit about your instructor, assignments, modules, just that kinds of stuff, everything about your course.
Okay. Jack, what does tech use?
So we like to use this website called Blackboard, which is basically like your class away from class. It displays the syllabus, the due dates for assignments, and just a bunch of information you would probably need to learn in order to do your assignments. It also can display a calendar that shows like everything that you need to know and everything that needs to be turned in. However, I like to use a journal myself and write notes down and write down specific dates for me. I also like to use a whiteboard in my room as well, to write down dates a lot because with ADHD, I forget a lot of things. And so I need to constantly remind myself, especially juggling a fraternity and a job and a bunch of classes all at once.
Okay. Greg, what do you use?
So Blackburn doesn't really use like a specific thing, but they started using like Google Classroom. So that's kind of what we use. But some of the professors do that and some of the professors don't, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. I like to use a Google Calendar to just put all my classes in, and then there's like I could put like reminders on it. Like I need to finish math after this class or stuff like that. And also like at the beginning of the week, I would like write down all my stuff on on like a sticky note and write down the date, and then I'll just check them off the list.
Okay. One good thing about Google Classroom, we use it at Briarwood, is that it will transpose to your phone and to my tablet. And so it kind of goes with me. Does Blackboard and Canva do that, Jack and Katie? Does it automatically go to your phone?
Yes, it does. I have an app downloaded for Blackboard.
Okay. Katie, what about Canva?
I have the app on my phone, so also, especially if I get an email through, there's also an inbox feature that you can get from professors for the class. So it is easier to have the app on my phone as well. So I can, if I'm out and about, I can see maybe I missed something or something's coming up. But in terms of a Google Calendar, I don't really use Google Calendar, but usually it will go through to my phone.
Okay. Janelle, I know you're at the same school, but do you use something else to keep yourself time management wise? Do you use your phone or reminder?
I use Google Calendar, but I also just try to do assignments like right when I get them if I can.
Okay. And you're playing soccer, so your time is very limited as well. Mhm.
Yeah, and we also like work at the school.
Oh, the work study. Okay. Thank you. Neil, what do you use? What does your school use? And what do you
Um,
use?
My school uses Canvas for everything. All my classes are on it. I downloaded this Chrome extension called Canvas Tasks, and it gives a to-do list for each week, and it orders the assignments by due date because all my assignments are turned in via Canvas.
Mhm.
And if any assignment isn't turned on in via Canvas, I can either manually create a new assignment in the extension, like if it's an exam or something,
Mhm.
or the professor's already done that for us. So I can see all my assignments for the week, and usually I get all my assignments at the beginning of the semester for the entire year or in the entire semester. So but I usually do all of my work, my like homework assignments Monday and Tuesday, and then the rest of the week I spend studying, which takes up the majority of my time for my exams and my quiz periods. And for my classes, I enter my classes into just that Apple Calendars app. And I like it because it gives me a notification either 10 or 5 minutes before the class, which I set it, and I can set it for longer than that. And that's just for my lecture periods and my quiz periods though. So
Okay.
yeah.
How many of you are taking classes online as well as in person? Is anyone doing both online and in person? Nobody right now. So everybody's in person? Yes, you're all saying yes. Okay. I know last year's college panel, we had students doing both, like coming still out of COVID. So I was just curious how that works for you as well. So tell me a little bit about the transition in high school. Some high schools give you pretty much a lot of accommodations, and then some you have to get just specific ones that the state requires. But can you tell me what the transition was? What accommodations are you getting in college that you may or may not have gotten in high school? Greg, let's start with you.
So okay, so accommodations in high school. I'm not getting I've gotten more accommodations in high school than I do in college, but it's kind of things that I
Like you didn't need them, or you just didn't.
I just didn't need them. Like
You didn't need them.
there
Mhm.
was yeah. So I have extra time on assignments, so like an extra day, and on tests I have twice time, uh, and what else I got? That's usually the two of them that I
Use
really
the
need.
most.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that I use the most.
Okay. Niels, what do you have in college that you may have not had in either way?
So in high school, I had like an absolute laundry list of accommodations, like so many, it was ridiculous. I never even used all of them in high school, but I had them all just in case. But in college, all I need really is extended time on exams. And I got calculator aid for my math exams, which is if the professor says no scientific or graphing calculator, that I get a 4-function calculator on that section. But I like a lot of times it's like a lot different in college. I found that majority of my professors allow extensions on assignments for anybody, which is very helpful. I'm taking I had to, for an engineering degree, for some reason, I had to take a linguistics class. And in that class, the professor's policy was literally just send her an email at any time before the due date and she'll give you a 48-hour extension, no questions asked. And
Cool.
like so not all professors are like that, but majority of the time, like if you need an accommodation and you just ask the professor, they just give it to you. Which is, I don't know if that's the same at all colleges. And same thing with the Office of Disability Services at my college is I just requested the accommodations I need and submitted my paperwork proving I had a disability. And they just basically gave them to me without asking any questions, which is pretty surprising, but that's how it worked for me.
I'm finding that more. I've traveled to a total of 72 colleges now, and more there, as long as you can prove you have a disability, they kind of give you what you say you need. So that's cool. Janelle, what accommodations are you getting?
I have extra time on assignments and tests, and I take my tests in the library.
Okay. That's
I
it.
have more, but that's what I use.
That's what you
mainly.
use. Okay. Jack, techniques, tell us how it works for you.
I actually was a part of the Technique Center about a few years ago now. It's been since 2021 since I've been a part of it. After a while, I thought like, okay, I could probably do this on my own, but I still request accommodations here and now. Since I was part of the program, I'm allowed to request like maybe time and a half on certain exams or take exams in different rooms. But when I was a part of the Technique Center, you were allowed to, request certain people to help you with your assignments and help get like basically a study buddy for you before an exam on the same week.
Okay. Katie, tell us about Lynn's program and what accommodations are you using?
So I would say my accommodations from high school are very similar to what I have now in college. So I have extended time on quizzes and tests, which I always take advantage of because even if I don't end up using all that extended time, it makes me feel like I'm not super rushed, which is very helpful. I also have I don't know what it's called specifically, but where they give you the material for the class beforehand so that you're prepared and that you have it prior. And then I also have the speech to text accommodation, but I don't really use that one often, which also goes with going to the testing center to take quizzes and tests, but I usually just take them by myself, I guess.
Okay. Does anyone have a note taker or a reader or anything more specific like that? I heard up to double time. So is that the most everyone is getting is up to double time?
Yeah, I received double time, but I actually asked my disabilities department about a note taker. I wasn't really requesting it. I was just curious on what it was because I've heard about it before. And the director there said one of the requirements is that you have to show up to every single lecture, which I thought was interesting. So there's some classes where I don't need to go to the lecture because the classes I've already taken in high school. So I didn't
Get the
I
note
also
taker.
just didn't think it was necessary for me personally, but
Okay. Is anyone using a smart pen? Does everyone know what a smart pen is? I might have to call you later, Jack. Yeah, I'll call you later. You probably would have used it. At Briarwood, we just got some for our students to check out, but smart pens record while you're writing your notes and it's on this special paper. And if you need to play it back, you can upload it to your computer and then touch the paper and it'll play back what the professor said at that particular point while you were writing your notes. It is, I could have used it and I don't have an LD. My daughters, both who have LDs, have them. And I was like, where was this 30
I
years
need
ago
that.
or what have you? Yes, it is fabulous.
yeah,
I'll call you later, Jack.
I use that every day for only for my math lectures though. I'm taking a few calculus classes and next semester like differential equations, and
Okay.
I use it. I don't have the smart pen, but I have an Apple Pencil. And on my
Okay.
note takings app, before I start the lecture, I click play and it records the professor's voice in my notes. And when I play it back, it shows it like writing the notes as the professor talks. So I can see exactly what I need to do. And usually I only go back to a few minutes or the section I don't understand. And I'm not listening to like the full entire lecture twice.
But it's good to have if you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely good to have. Any other accommodations? Laura, you jumped on real quick. Is there a question?
Yeah, there was a question related, if any of the students are getting early enrollment when registering for classes, if that's an accommodation.
Okay. Niels, you're saying yes?
Yeah, I enroll with the seniors, and all my friends absolutely hate that for me because registering for classes is kind of a war at my school. Especially for the professors that are ranked high on Rate My Professor. And I found that getting professors that are usually ranked a lot higher on Rate My Professor, they usually offer a lot more accommodations to students if you just ask them. That aren't part of what you receive from the Office of Disability Services.
So because you're registered with them, you get to register with the seniors?
Yeah, I get to register at the same time the seniors do, and they get highest priority.
Okay.
Just like athletes get to register with the seniors. So that's how my school does it.
Anybody else get that? Register early? Niels, thanks for bringing up Rate My Professor. I was going to ask that. How many of you use that app where you can rate and look at your professors before you pick classes? Jack, I would think at a big school like yours, you would need to do that. Have the rest of you ever had to do that? Rate your professor?
I have never used it, but I also found an app called Fishbowl, which is similar. It's kind of, actually, I think it's more for actual jobs. So I guess that's a little bit unrelated, but it's the same concept technically.
Okay.
Technically.
Just gonna say Rate My Professor seems to be very and professors know it because I taught college, so we know about it. But to see what other students say about professors is very helpful, especially if you are a student who needs more accommodation or need the notes in advance or whatever the case may be. It's really a good website for especially freshmen going in, kind of getting a feel for, because they get the last bits of professors to choose from, and so to at least have a little bit of understanding about what they're stepping into is a great opportunity. So Rate My Professor is something good. Niels, you were gonna say?
Yeah, in my school, I really think Rate My Professor has an impact in your actual grade too. Some professors teach this, or all my classes, multiple professors teach that same exact class, especially as a freshman before I get into my like speciality, I'm just taking general engineering classes. So I have 3 or 4 professors to pick from, and some professors a lot of the times are really harsh graders or something, even though you're learning the exact same content. So I found it very important to pick good rated professors, is it really has an impact in your actual grade in the course, which is the whole one of the entire points of going to college.
Going to college in the first place. I agree. Tell me what you guys do for fun, because I know college is important. I'm a parent. I expected my children to go and get their education, but I also was a freshman at college, and that's a rough year. Tell me what y'all are doing for fun. Greg, you mentioned there's nothing to do in your little small town, so what do you do for fun?
Not much. I'm just at first as a freshman, it was hard to go out and make friends, but now that I have them, that's all I do for fun. I go out with friends, and we go to we've recently just been doing like board games.
Okay.
Or,
did you live in the dorms your freshman year?
I did, yes.
Okay.
And
Does that help a little bit?
No, that was really good because I got to meet my roommate, who is my best friend. So
cool.
It's great.
Jack, I know you said fraternity life, which doesn't surprise me about you one bit. So other than fraternity life, what else are you doing for fun?
So during my freshman year, a lot of the times my time was hanging out with friends, and finding stuff to do around Lubbock. Um, then as I got older, I started to branch out a little bit. I started to learn some, I guess, talents. I learned how to ride a skateboard. I started learning how to play a guitar, and I've just started to make new connections with people, and order in order to like continue my career. And with the fraternity, what we like to do is like hold events um for our fraternity and for other people. We'll do a lot of philanthropy, like work for food banks, and do mixers with other sororities, which we do like dance competitions and like football and basketball competitions, which is a lot of fun. um, but yeah, the social life there at Texas Tech is great. Everyone there wants to be your friends. It's super friendly. It's a lot, you can find a lot of stuff to do, especially on campus. We love going to tailgates for football and basketball games. And yeah.
Okay. What do you do when it snows up there?
Actually, I love to go sledding. I remember I had a big freshman group. When I was a freshman. And so this one friend of mine, she had a surfboard, and we found the nearest park and went sledding down. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. We like to make snowmen and have snowball fights and whatnot.
Greg, do you and Janelle did y'all learn to ski? Did you learn to adjust to the snow?
Yeah, we did. It was very surprising the first time. There's a lot of it.
Okay.
And we definitely had snowball fights. I think, really fun.
I don't know if I
We
can
have to.
you have to get used to the snow.
We have to wake up early and shovel snow.
Oh yeah, got
Mm-mm,
rid of some of the sidewalks.
not doing that. Janelle, what do you do for fun besides soccer?
The school puts on a lot of events, and we get like stickers every time we go, and then they do a thing called Platinum Bingo. So we get to win like TVs and stuff like that.
Okay. That's not bad. Nils, what do you do for fun?
I'm in a really great location in Hoboken. I'm just one subway ride away from Manhattan. So sometimes we go into the city to watch a movie, go to Central Park. We watch the Christmas tree lighting. So like a lot of fun activities, like endless things to do in Manhattan. Go to different colleges a lot of the times. That's fun sometimes. But otherwise at school, like around 40% of our undergraduate class is in fraternity or sorority Greek life, which is so that's a big part. Like going to as a freshman first semester, and we're not allowed to join a fraternity or sorority, but going to rush events that they host are very fun. Like and usually get free food or something out of that too. So and my brother lives in Manhattan, and my sister lives in Long Island, so they're just a train ride away as well. And there's like all sorts of things you can do. Next weekend or the weekend I get back, I'm going on a ski trip with my brother, and they have buses that take you straight to the resort straight out of Manhattan, so it's super easy to get to. And my school offers like connectivity meetings for all students who are registered with the Office of Disabilities,
Okay.
where you get to like meet everybody who also has a disability, and they also bring in special employment opportunities and fairs for just students with disabilities, to make sure that everybody is seen at the school.
Okay. Katie, I know you and I spoke earlier, and you told me you have some regrets about not getting out there earlier and meeting folks, but tell me what you do for fun.
Well, I guess I actually was in a sorority my end of my freshman year. And I was in that for I think a year and a half. And then I kind of discovered it wasn't really for me, but it was a great opportunity. And then I decided that I actually wanted to play tennis, but there was no club, like a tennis club on campus. And so I checked with the student involvement, and they had a a tennis club before, but it wasn't present. So I wanted to kind of bring it back and just see who would join, if it would work at all. So I got a few friends together and we kind of just brought it back. And it was a small group, obviously, but it was a good experience and a good leadership experience just to coordinate. It was mainly just, playing tennis and meeting new people and all that kinds of stuff. But it was a good experience just getting myself out there and pushing myself a little bit because I usually would not do that, but I really wanted to play tennis, and so I thought it would be a good thing to try out. But now I'm off campus, and honestly, there's a lot of events on campus like all other universities, but Lynn has many great events for students and even alumni and all that. So those are really fun to meet other people and just another reason to go onto campus. So
How often are you at the beach?
never actually. I actually don't go to the beach, but I do know lots of people who love going to the beach. They will go weekly even, or just I don't know, it's just not my thing for some reason, but lots of people who go to Lynn love going to the beach. So
I mean, Boca Raton, you're at the water. So
yeah.
how many hours a week? Because one of the things that high schoolers don't realize is there's a major difference between studying and preparing for tests and so forth. And many high school seniors I know don't really have a good handle on studying time and what that means in college. And so just because you go to school a couple days a week doesn't mean the rest of the week is freebie time. So tell me a little bit about how much time are you studying, literally looking over your lecture notes, etc., a week? Jack, let's start with you.
Yeah, so this last semester I only had classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I had a lot of time in between to look at my notes and whatnot. And I'd say I'd spend about at least an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, just like doing homework and like going over notes and stuff. And a lot of my major, however, is a lot of projects because my major is creative media. I've made a lot of films and um, video projects and advertisements this year. And so a lot of my time goes into that, and that can take up to like 3 hours a day for me. Um,
How many hours are you carrying right now?
so my last semester, I am taking only 12 now because that's all I need.
Okay.
But typically I took up to 15, which is 5 classes. And it's really not that hard to manage if you can get a good routine going. Um, I do recommend going to all the classes too, because you can miss a lot of things if you don't. But yeah, if you just have the discipline, then you can get your work done maybe in an hour, half, 2 hours a day.
And you said you were working as well?
Yes, I work at a grocery store right now, and I've been working there since January last year.
And how many hours are you working?
I work about 18 to 20 a week. It's not too much. It's more for me to like get some extra spending money. Um, but yeah, it does take up a lot of time sometimes.
Janelle, how many hours are you studying a week? I mean, yeah, a week.
I would say about the same, and um, depending on my art projects, I would spend a lot of hours in those because I have fun doing that.
So your projects are assignments, but you don't consider them necessarily homework. It's like you're working on it for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Katie, how much time are you spending doing homework and studying?
The thing is, it usually depends on the courses that I have, but I usually don't have too many quizzes and tests to actually study for. But when I do, usually it's probably like an hour, same thing that Jack said, probably an hour and a half or 2 hours. It kind of just depends on, your routine and what, if you actually want to do well and, pass the class,
Be-
more hours, but depends.
okay, before I get to Nils and Greg on the same question, Lynn works a little differently. You're on a block schedule. Tell us a little bit about that, because Jack just said he could take up to 15 hours, which is 5 classes. But Lynn doesn't work like that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so ever since COVID hit, Lynn has changed the layout to a block schedule. So basically what that means is for each semester, it is it's divided into 4 blocks, which is 4 weeks each. So basically for each block, you're taking 1 to 2 classes total. So the reason for that is that you're focusing more on one specific class and not 5. So it's supposed to help with, focusing on one. You're mainly supposed to take 1, but some people are allowed to take 2, a block. And so basically it's 4 weeks. So obviously when you brought up, going to class every day and I was shaking my head, for me or for Lynn, it's, if you miss a day, it's kind of like you're missing a week's worth of notes and stuff. So it's really important, especially at Lynn, to go to all your classes because it's only 4 weeks long. So you only have a certain amount of time for each class.
So in the way that I understood it, so for 4 weeks, you're in 1 or 2 classes that is actually like a semester long in those 4 weeks for those 2 classes.
Yes. And oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. And do you go to school every day? Are your classes every?
Usually it's Monday through Thursday. We usually don't have classes on Friday, but yeah, mainly every day, but it obviously depends on what class you have.
So Monday through Thursday, and how long is a class?
It's supposed to be 2.5 hours for each day, but it's sometimes some professors will let us out a little early. It depends on the professor, but usually at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Okay, for the 2 classes every day. Okay,
Yeah.
I get that. Niels, how many hours are you studying? And how many
I think
hours are
that
you carrying?
this semester I'm taking 19 credit hours, which is almost close to the maximum you can take. And next semester I'm only taking 12, which is just how my schedule ended up working out. So it's going to be a lot better. But and studying really depends on the class. For example, my engineering class, I do almost 0 hours of studying for that class because I learned all of CAD modeling skills in high school, while my friends spend a lot of time trying to understand that software. So I have a head start on some of the classes, and other classes that I'm not so strong at. Believe it or not, I'm an engineering major. I'm not strong at math. I know, right? I spend a lot of time studying math, and it makes me go crazy. I also took chemistry, and I had my chemistry teacher present herself, and she's like, my course will take X amount of hours per week, and like I never end up finding that true. So I wouldn't believe that. Either it takes way more than they say, or way less than they say. It's
Okay.
So but then around like 2 weeks before finals, which makes up around 30 to 40% of your grade at Stevens, I basically had no study life or social life. I was just studying, but I was studying with my friends at least. We would basically like set ourselves up in a lecture hall every night, and we would like study in the lecture hall together, and then like when we took breaks, we'd like play Minecraft on the big projector and stuff, like fun things like that. But
That's your break. That's your reward.
yeah,
for
that's our
studying.
break. But like on average around like 4 to 5 hours per class I'm spending studying. And studying, I never studied in high school. like I didn't know what studying was before I went to college.
I hear
Basically.
that a lot from my students that come back, that they really didn't understand studying, which at Briarwood, I'm trying to make sure that that is understood, because there is a big transition between high school
Absolutely.
and college. And we in high school, at least at Briarwood, I think we kind of hold your hand and walk you through. We see you every day. We remind you. We write it on the board. We do all these things. And then you get to college and the professors are like, here's your syllabus, let's go. And so
Yeah.
I think that is true for most people. Greg, let me ask you, so how many hours are you studying?
I spend a lot of time studying. It's just for me. It takes a long time for me to get information and actually learn what I'm learning.
Mhm.
But it's I find like there's times where I can like really just like get in there and study and do really fast and get that information quickly. But there's other times where I can't, and I just gotta force myself to just do it. And it's
Yeah,
and it kind of I gotta do it like in the evening time too, which is kind of hard too. Is because you're done with all your classes and you're done with work, and now you have to study.
I get it. How many of you, that one of the questions was, did you struggle with a foreign language? Any of you took a foreign language in high school, especially those of you with dyslexia? Did any of you take a foreign language? None of you. Okay.
I took a foreign language in high school.
In high school?
Yeah. I basically determined that I cannot learn a foreign language. My college doesn't require it, but ended up taking American Sign Language online, and it was like ridiculously easy. It shouldn't even, I know no sign language at all, but I got the credits, so yeah.
I will tell you, for the person who asked that question, at Briarwood, we introduced Spanish about maybe 3 or 4 years ago for students who want to take a foreign language. And I recognize in Texas, if you go to a state school, it does require a foreign language. However, I've had situations where students who have dyslexia have been able to waive that requirement based on their dyslexia diagnoses. Um, Specifically, I had 2 students who went to Sam Houston, both having dyslexia. However, getting in, they didn't need the foreign language, but getting out, they did need the foreign language because their majors required a foreign language. So they both, one was engineering and one was nursing. So they both had to take it, and had no background knowledge from not having taken it in high school. So to answer that question, I think you just have to check with the various schools, but it is a requirement for state schools that you have the 2 years of foreign language, because every public school requires 2 years of a foreign language, but there are ways around it. And so I think that was the question. Let me look one more time.
I also heard of people getting out of their foreign language credits for high school, because I know for public school, at least it's required for you to take at least a year. And I am taking a coding class in college, which I don't know, sometimes that counts as a language, sometimes it doesn't. I know for Texas public school, that does not count as a
It does
foreign
not.
language, but
No.
sometimes
But American Sign
sometimes it
Language does count as a
Yeah.
foreign language. And so there are Texas Tech ISD, which is their high school program, has it online. UT Austin's high school has it online. And then there's another school that offers it online. So definitely there are other ways. Spanish is phonemic. And so a lot of students with dyslexia have found that Spanish helps them because it is a phonemic language. So they're studying their vowels and all of that. Unfortunately, here in America, we're behind everybody else, because when I was even just in the Dominican Republic, they speak English, French, and Creole all starting in kindergarten. And so by the time they get to high school, they're already ready for a 4th language. So we've just got to get on the ball. Laura, you just jumped on.
We do. We have another question. Curious about how you all, or if you all get to know your professors, and if so, if that is helpful.
Question. Who wants to grab that?
I'll take it. Yeah, and with a small school, we definitely get to know our professors very well. And I had no issues with any of my professors.
And if you do,
And Janelle, I think that was your mom in the background, but you do get to meet your professors, get to talk to them, etc.
sister, the talker.
At a smaller school, I would think that would be easier. What about at a bigger school, Jack?
Yeah, so there were a few professors of mine I've had throughout the years where I got to know really well, and they became familiar with me because I would ask them a lot of questions. I would be sending them emails left and right, just asking like, how do you want me to do this, or what do you want me to do, and whatnot. And so professors that I would do that with recognize me, and so that would help me a lot in my performance on certain assignments or exams for them because they
And does it get
recognize
better
that.
as you're in your major, senior, you've been around them a lot more?
Yes, yeah, no, I've had professors multiple times in classes, and they're like, "Oh, hey, how you?" When I first come in for the first day, and so building that connection has helped me a lot to even better understand the class I'm taking.
Katie, what about you? You're at a small school. And now that you're a senior, have you had some of the professors repeatedly?
Oh yeah, for sure. Since I'm within the College of Communication Design, I'm constantly around, walking around the same people, the same professors. So I will always run into them. And it also helps with, since I'm a part of the newspaper there, so I'm always in the newsroom there. So it's the same professors I've had throughout the years. So it's honestly kind of bittersweet just to see them every day, since I'm like a senior now. So I get to see them, and it's just nice to see. Yeah.
Does that help with, I'm assuming you and Jack are both getting ready to start job hunting and getting some resumes out there. Do they assist with that?
They will assist, like if you reach out to them and, ask, they are great with recommendations, and they have lots of connections. So they're a great outlet to, go to, even if I have any questions about even just the industry. I know that they'll talk to me and they'll help me figure it out. So they've been very nice.
Greg, what about you? Getting to know your professors?
Yeah, our professors are very involved with the school, and so we see them at a lot of events that happens, and we go say hi. It's good because there's like 5 students in one of my classes, and so like it goes by quick, and we just have conversations sometimes. It's pretty well. It's pretty good.
Okay. How many of you had to tell your professors about your LD, or does your program do it for you? Niels, I'll start with you. Does the program do it for you, or did you have to go tell your professors?
Yeah, so at my school, the Office of Disability Services will email your professor what your accommodations are, but they will not tell your professor what type of disability you have. So I usually send out an email, or I did this semester at least, of all to all my professors with what my learning disability is and what specifically helps me learn best in classes. And at my school, at least, it's like really up to you if you want to get to know your professor. We have some large classes, some small classes. And if you want to go to their office hours and get to know them really well, you can certainly do that. And in my specialty for naval engineering, there's a lot of opportunities at the research laboratory on campus for getting internships and volunteering there. So yeah.
Okay. Janelle, does your school tell your professors, or do you have to do it?
We have to do it. We basically give them a piece of paper with our disabilities, and they have to sign it. And I send them lots of emails and reminders too.
Okay. Yeah.
No. So the program actually did tell them about the techniques program, and so when I go on Blackboard, if I ever wanted to request accommodations, I could simply just go down to request and then request like time and a half or just extra assistance and whatnot. So I didn't personally have to reach out to them.
Okay. Katie?
So for Lynn, before each block starts, it's up to you to send your accommodations to your professor. But I guess before that, you obviously reach out to the IAL program, and at first you obviously let them know what disabilities you have and what accommodations you need. Anyway, so they created a letter and basically explaining to the professor, here are the accommodations. So basically, it's just sending that letter to any professor or professors that you have.
Okay. And Greg?
Yeah, I like to schedule like an office meeting with them.
Okay.
Yeah, to go over my accommodations and my disabilities, and to to make them understand my learning purposes, and so they can best accommodate me.
Okay. I noticed you all use the word disability, and I when I was visiting, I don't know which school this summer, they really frown on using the term learning disability. They like learning differences. Do you all have a preference one way or another? Does one make you feel differently than the other? Anybody want to answer that one?
I guess learning differences does sound better.
Does sound better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I toured about 6 schools this summer, and I can't remember where I was, but they did not like learning disability. They didn't feel like they were disabled. They felt like they learned differently, and so they used the term differences everywhere. So it's the Office of Learning Differences instead of disability. Just curious if y'all had a preference one way or another. Laura, you just popped on, so question?
Yes, one more question. There's a curiosity about what advice you guys would have to the parents who might be listening to you all tonight.
I was just getting ready to go there before you said that. I was going to, okay. So what advice would you have for parents in what regard, Laura? What was the?
Just things that they should think about, or how they can best support their child as they're getting ready or starting their college journey.
Okay. Niels, let's start with you. What
Um,
advice for parents?
Well, when you do go off to college and you turn 18 as an adult, your parents lose access to your grades and your medical records and everything. So I suggest properly giving them access to that. You have to give them permission to see all that. My parents don't really kind of stay out of it as long as I'm doing fine in school, which I am. So I'm not really. I don't know.
You're not
Can
really
you
sure?
speak on it?
So as the mom, I would recommend that parents understand that there is an Office of Disability or Learning Differences at the campus, and make sure that you know what the deadlines are before you send your kid off for the first day of classes. Some of the deadlines are quite a bit earlier to get in paperwork and what kind of paperwork they want, and also how recent the paperwork should be. For example, in New York State, some private schools prefer the paperwork be by your senior year. It still has to be like within 5 years. So of graduation, like when you graduate senior year. So that means you should get your paperwork in order senior year in high school. So it carries through. Otherwise, you have to pay for testing again later. And also, so that was a big thing we learned. And the school that you actually decide on may not want any of that, but find out before you commit to the school also what they want.
Okay. Thanks, Mom.
Sure.
Janelle, what advice would you have for parents?
I would say try to get all the accommodations you want during high school, and make sure it's up to date, like she said. And well, I forgot the rest I was gonna say.
You can jump back on again if you remember. Katie?
I would say just to encourage your child to not stay in their dorm all day as much as they might want to, especially in their freshman year. Mainly just to keep encouraging them to get out there and even just do something small, like go to an event for even 15 minutes, just so that you're at least trying, you're putting some effort into it, even if you don't really feel like socializing, you're not there yet. It's just getting out of your room and just doing something is a good starting point.
Okay. Greg?
I would say it's I don't really know.
Advice for parents?
I think I would just just like connect with connect with them and just like call them every once in a while, see how they're doing. Really see how they're doing, like with their mental health or everything, because it can be stressful sometimes, and so it's good to have someone to talk to.
Thanks. I appreciate you bringing that up as the counselor. Freshman year, the number one thing is that homesickness and being lonely and away from your normal routines. And mental health is really, really important. And so I'm pretty close with most of my seniors, and they get to email me or call me or text me when they need me. And so, but I know that that's a really hard part for parents to not just let go, but kind of keep a little bit of an eye on them. Jack? What would you advise? And remember, I'm good friends with your mom, so watch it.
Yeah. Like what Greg said, just support your kid all the way. Just support what they love and support what they enjoy doing. Even weekly calls or even monthly calls, whenever texting, that helps a lot. There was a time where I would get on calls with my mom at least once a week, and that really helped my mental health a lot. And of course, support them, but don't like hold their hand the entire time. I feel like because this is an opportunity in their life to really figure out who they are and to learn like what is good for them, and so they kind of need that sense of reality. um Not to say to not support them at all, but I hope that makes sense. And yeah, they're gonna it's gonna be a little bit of a stressful time, but over time they'll get used to it and they're gonna do just great.
What would you say you would suggest to seniors to kind of get themselves in a position to be ready for college? And Jack, I'll start with you since you were still talking, but what coming from Briarwood, small environment, you know, a lot of your classmates wanted to go off to big schools, wanted to go away. Everybody wants to go away, but not
Yeah.
everybody should. So what would you say to seniors about getting ready? Things that they need to be doing, because senioritis kicks in right about now.
Yeah. You just got to keep pushing it, man. I know I did definitely have senioritis, but as long as you keep on pushing, you'll still feel that motivation, I think, because sure, it might seem sometimes like the end of the world, but it's really not. Everything is not as bad as it really seems. It can feel like a stressful time because it's such a big change, but um you just have to remember there are always people there to support you along the way.
Okay. Greg, what would you say for your seniors? What can they be doing right now to get ready and avoid
Um,
senioritis?
I would say that just I don't know. I definitely had senior guys too, so I would say finish strong. I don't
Finish
know.
strong.
Yeah.
I had senioritis too, so I know it's real. It's definitely a real phenomenon. Niels, what would you say?
Yeah, senioritis is very real. um I would say make sure if you've had like make sure you keep your grades consistent. Don't let them slip at the end of the year, because if you decide you want to end up transferring schools, even if you have your mind set on one school and you decide you don't like it there, colleges will ask for your full high school transcript. So they'll be able to see your last semester of senior year. Even if you don't think it matters now, it might later. So I would make sure to keep your grades consistent and finish your strong. Yeah.
All right, Janelle, what would you advise seniors to do right now to avoid senioritis and get ready for college?
Yeah, just keep going. You know that the end is near, and then like make sure you're looking at colleges, and don't always look at the big colleges, and because small colleges are really nice, and apply for scholarships. That's a big
Okay.
one.
All right, Katie?
I would also say, do your research on colleges, even if you don't think you're interested in it. Just go to the website at least, look at what majors they have, what programs they have. Just do some research and just write down some points. And you might decide later you don't want to go there, but you could even just apply and you might end up going there. But just like research colleges and just keep thinking about what you think you want to do, and just it'll all work out.
At Briarwood, we take students on a college trip. This past year, I took the juniors. We were gone for about 3 days. And interesting, one of the schools, I'm not going to mention the school, that they were really hyped about. Once we got on campus, they all changed their minds. And I think visiting schools is really important. So on paper, it may have everything you need, but if you can't see yourself hanging out with those people on campus, then that's not the school for you. And that's what happened with this particular school. They did not see themselves there. The population was not what they expected it to be. It was just very different. And so I suggest seniors go out, make that last visit during the middle of the week, never go on a Friday because no one's on campus on Fridays. But go hang out and go see, and just sit in quiet and watch for a little bit and get a feel for it and see if you can hang out with them. That's all I have. If there's anything I did not discuss, let me know. Laura, did you have any more questions?
There was just one question in the chat. If anyone had anything else to add around reading long textbooks or writing long essays. I know we already discussed the extensions, but if there is anything in particular that helps you guys with those longer assignments.
And maybe to add to that same question is, how often are you using the writing center, and does your school have a writing center separate for students who are LDs? Because I know some schools do, some schools don't. So Katie, I'll go backwards. What about Lynn?
Yeah, so we have a writing center. It's within the learning oh my God, I already forgot the name.
IEP,
IEL program, sorry. It's within that in the building, and it is in the program, but I think that students can also just walk into the building and go to the writing center. But I think I would have to look up specifically, but I'm pretty sure anyone can just walk in and go to the writing center. I've done it a few times and it is helpful. I would definitely give it a try, at least see if you like it, if it works for you.
Janelle, do you guys have a writing center, and how are you handling longer assignments? Your major has a lot to do with that, even though you're a sophomore, because you're majoring in art. So for English 1301, did you have to use the writing center?
Yes, I used it a lot.
Okay.
It's run by students.
It's
ran by students. Okay.
Yeah, everything in our school is basically run by students.
So would these be students who are older, seniors, already have gone through the course?
Mostly, but it
Okay.
can be anybody.
It's their job. They get paid money because everybody works at the college. But they usually have like a writing degree or creative writing.
Okay, I got that. Niels, what about you?
Yeah, my school has a writing center. It's also run by students, and it's really helpful. Besides, they're almost always completely booked. like all the time. Like if you want to schedule a writing center appointment, you have to do like 2 weeks in advance because it's just so popular. And for like long readings in textbooks, I've had my only class where I've really had to read a textbook really. Like there's always other ways of learning the same material if it's like math or chemistry where you can just like look at online videos. Like you don't have to use the textbook as long as you're learning the same information. But for my English class I had to because it was like a linguistics class and I had to read like very deep academic texts and it was just like worse than Shakespeare. It was so bad. Like it's one of those sentences where you read it like a philosophy textbook and you're like, what did they just say? And it was like a whole textbook of that. It was so bad. So
I'm laughing at you because I minored in Shakespeare, so just
anyways, that was like a lot, and it was a brand new textbook that was sold by my school, so I had to buy it, which was really annoying. But that book in particular, I used different ways. One, I always read the academic text, even if I didn't fully understand it, just because I felt like I bought the textbook, so I should read it, right? But then I usually comprehended like 2%. So I would either do two things. I'd look online and sometimes there'd be like a Spark Notes or something on it. And that's not written in deep academic language. So it's really easy. But a lot of times in journal articles, that isn't true. So what you can do is you can just ask like an AI, which isn't academically fine at my school. That's how our honor code works, is we're allowed to use AIs. And you can just ask it like, what are the main points of this? Can you summarize this? Can you rewrite this in some way it's easier to understand? And it'll bring the ability to read the information out of these academic articles a lot easier. And if I'm still struggling, I can always go to my professor's office hours and they'll just explain it to me. So,
okay. Greg,
yeah.
What about you? Thanks, Steele.
I would say like just be open to with your friends about your learning difference, and like I'm open with my friends about how I have dyslexia and how I have trouble writing my papers, and so I can just write my papers and then they can go over it for me, and doing stuff right.
Okay. Niels brought up something that I was going to mention to you guys. AI is the hot topic right now. How many of you are using it and helping you in the way that Niels just mentioned, like, hey, can you break down Shakespeare for me and make it simpler? Are any of your schools having policies created to keep you from using AI? Or are you using artificial intelligence? I can't even talk. Artificial intelligence. Jack, you were shaking your head.
Well, I personally never actually used AI because I felt like I never really needed it. And also my school does crack down a lot on the AI use. They have certain technology that can detect like that this is not your writing, because they can pinpoint like older work you've had in the past, and they're like, okay, that does not look like your handwriting at all.
But could you use it to help you the way Neil said, as far as
Oh yes, you definitely could. I just personally wouldn't recommend it.
okay. I'm not saying to use it to write a paper because to me that's cheating. And there's a big debate on that, whether or not it is. But Katie, what about you for AI? Does the school have a policy?
I think there was some debate on using AI, and I'm pretty sure that it's that we can't use AI, but I recently took a class where in the syllabus it said you can use a certain amount of it. It was kind of, I don't remember specifically, but obviously, I mean, mainly we weren't allowed to use it, and if we used it in our papers, they would detect it. And I also agree with Jack on, I don't really use AI just in general. First time that I heard about it, I thought I was too scared to even use it because I thought I would get like, I don't know, like, in trouble
Kicked
or
out of
something.
school.
So I'm kind of glad that I had that effect on me, that it had that effect on me. It's because I don't really want to get in the habit of using it all the time. But I do agree on using it for helping explain certain assignments or something like that.
So do you, Greg, does your school have a policy? Janelle, does your school have a policy about AI?
I don't think they have a policy yet. Maybe it just depends on the teacher. And yeah, I use it a lot to help me understand stuff.
I could see using it that way, Greg.
Yeah, you can kind of use it as like a guideline to help you.
Understand it better.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see using it in that respect. But it is a big debate right now. It's, a hot topic. I just read an article about how schools are using almost like Turnitin.com, kind of checking to see for plagiarism. They have a program that's coming out to detect AI use. But for those long passages, are you guys using oral books, or especially those of you with dyslexia, how are you getting your assignments read if you have really long text to read? And you said ChatGPT, or you're using AI. Nils, what are you using, Greg, for your longer reading assignments?
For me,
Great.
oh, sorry.
Yeah. For me, I use I can use like what is it? It's like I don't know. There's sometimes I can find stuff on like Audible, and now I just like buy an Audible, or like I know for like an article I had my business article I had like I used like a speech software, and so I just had to read to me while I was doing stuff.
Audible, Learning Ally. Is anybody using Learning Ally? Nils, you're shaking your head. Janelle, Learning Ally, have you used that?
Not really, but I haven't had really long papers yet. Just like we usually read them in class. The teacher reads them.
That's helpful. Okay, especially for the dyslexic. All right. Laura, any other questions? Am I missing anything?
I think we've hit it all, and interesting with the new discussion of AI now.
Yeah, it's been a hot topic at Briarwood. We're obviously talking about it, and like I said, when I went and toured some schools this summer, and even on the college tour, it came up in every tour we were on, some discussion about AI. So I know it's out there. And again, parents pay for you to go to college and don't want you to get caught not writing your own thoughts, but I can totally see the temptation of using it to help you in those classes that you're not the least bit interested in. I went to college in California, and we all had to take geology, and I'm not the least bit interested in earthquakes or rocks or in anything. And so how easy would it have been to write a paper using, ChatGPT or whatever it's called? So it's an interesting debate that's going on, especially for those who are dyslexic, who don't write well, who have a struggle reading, our dysgraphia students, so we'll see what comes about with it for sure.
Yeah, I think just like to add on to that, the AI thing at my school is really interesting. It's up to the professor whether they want to allow it, and if they do, that you have to cite it. So, like for example, if you do research with AI and the AI puts out some really good information, you can actually quote it and put it in your citations as you're citing the AI as your work, and that is totally acceptable. And my professors use AI to grade assignments, and they'll let you know if you use AI to grade the assignments. And then you just, if you really feel like you don't trust it, you can check it yourself and see the feedback the AI gave you. And that's also, but all the AI detectors like Turnitin.com and I know recently GPT removed their AI detector because they found out that it's like 40% accurate. So they've completely banned those at my college. So they're not allowed to use those as evidence to honor board you for AI usage. So,
It'll be interesting where we go with it. As time progresses and we're getting more used to it and using it more, it'll be interesting to see. Laura, that's all I have, unless you have something else. I want to
I-
thank the panel, but do you have a question or?
No more questions, same thing. Just wanted to say thank you, Tony, for being our amazing moderator year after year. And thank you to each of the panelists for sharing your experiences.
Yep, it's been great. I always learn something new every single time. So thanks, you guys. It was great meeting some of you that I've not met before. Jack and Katie, as always, I love y'all. See ya. And Laura, thank you again for having me.
Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.